New season, new me is my full-time mentality this year. Even though before 25 minutes into any game all the feathers stay real quiet because I do all the tickling on champs that aren't even building tanky, I'm determined to pick the scaling carries, farm up with my head down, dodge all the dangers that can one-tap me, and thrive in this new season. Is a bunch of crap I usually tell myself, but that dumb dead feather isn't me anymore. I'm the frostbitten cat turd that just nose tackled her and then walked over to her support the Clash Day Amumu who pissed me off in lane to politely tell him to gargle on my nutsack. You see, if each role was like a race, then Riot would be cancelled for a crazy amount of racism because bot laners are being seated in the back of the bus to the point where they need priority queue just to incentivize idiots to play solo queue down there. In my days of being the summoners rift Rosa Parks by trying to get bot laners the proper treatment is over, so now when I inevitably get autofilled that useless role, I no longer am concerned with winning, but rather being the hero that these people deserve, and the one Riot needs to see, by making it my mission to prove how much of a joke their role is by single-handedly ruining the enemy ADC's life until they say this.
I'm just a meme.
So yes, new year, new me in so many more ways than just this one. For example, I'd like to introduce you to Stacy. She's a girl I've recently been seeing when I search hottie with a body on Google Images, and my ultimate plan is to make this woman fall madly in love with me and one day be the mother to the next generation of crying ADC mains. But here's the thing. My voice in these videos is edited
in real life. I could be the soprano to any singing group.
Plus in the whole height department.
So tell me, does height matter?
Yes, I would say yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Taller guys are more attractive?
I might need help, but I will charm her with my wit, and the only thing I will need to fix is this crusty bird's nest next to my face hole that I call a beard. This is where Manscaped comes in. When I think of Manscaped, I think of keeping my balls in tip-top shape for their next play date, but the reality is that those puppers aren't being welcomed out to play if your face grooming game isn't on point. So introducing the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, including a trimmer designed for your face with an insanely powerful motor and 20 different lengths depending on how you and the Stacy in your life likes it. Finally, I can stop using the same trimmer on my face that I use down by my This pack also comes with dermatologist tested products to help you grow and nourish beautiful little face bushes with things like their beard oil featuring all natural ingredients, and their beard shampoo and conditioner both packed with all sorts of vitamins. Finally, there's the beard balm to keep those head pubes smelling and feeling their best. So thank Manscaped for sponsoring this video by using my link below to get 20% off the Beard Hedger Pro Kit plus free shipping and gifts to help woo the Stacy of your life today.
What about that part where you have a wife already?
Alright, so here's the deal. When Riot hits me with the fat autofill ADC, I normally would start craving Prozac, but now I lock in Lava Lamp Malphite, which, disclaimer, the early game is uneventful except for that one time their jungler comes to announce to all of us that he doesn't know how to read a room, so he scurried off with my Ignite, and then I kept playing more passive than a leaf in the breeze until my 6th birthday. And yeah, I had only read 2 books at this point in my life, so limit testing my one-shot combo alone this early may have been ill-advised, and I'm sure my mother will be calling to tell me I'm a dumb shit for attempting it later. And while this may have been a capital INT interesting experiment, you can't forget the goal of this pick is to ruin the enemy ADC's life, so I made sure to remove her screen's color before mine left as well. Then it turns out there was a water Pilates class in the river around 10 o'clock, but no one told me because I guess they figured my body was already rock hard. I didn't need the exercise. That's a Malphite joke, but the thing is I'm always down to slap the ground, yell defense, and watch these bot lane babies burn. Now most people think ADCs are like a fine wine where they get better with time, but not in this particular hellhole of a nightmare that me and this sun slut of a support had planned for her. As the strategy quickly turned into let's just both ult the bitch every time it's up, and while the very first execution was more sus than a door-to-door NFT salesman, it still worked out well, and all that was left to do was pace around back and forth like I'm holding in the piss of my life until it was safe to go back in and claim my kill on the We killed him and I certainly didn't die, which left just that high noon dime piece alone. And typically when the gank angle is this obtuse you would say let's call it quits, especially considering she was near her stone-titted bodyguard and I had no ult, but I feel like leaving an opportunity to kill an ADC on the table would be very unlike the petty nature of this video, so she had to die. At this point I had an unspoken agreement with my Leona that every time we backed she would then take the scenic route back to lane because the concept of warding clearly wasn't taught at this Buzz Lightyear Blitzcranks boarding school, and then she would just sticky hand the marksman I'd like to call mommy and I'd politely ask everyone to jump and she'd die. Then we would get real close to Blitzcrank and whisper into his ear that this is only gonna get worse for his lane spouse, to which he would respond by saying he knows he'd be better off with an immovable NPC tower as his duo partner at this point. And the pattern of these death fetish losers having less vision than a blind fish in muddy water continued, which had their ADC filing legal paperwork to officially be called Miss Unfortunate moving forward, to which I no longer even needed my ult to help me remove her naive useless presence from my sight. And with Ginger Tits on another black and white hiatus, we had an opportunity to see if a Roly Golem could gather another death, but Big Nas X was in the area, and to be honest, if the enemy isn't an ADC, I'd rather just watch TV, so I showed little desire to touch dick tips with these losers until it was looking like an easy dub, leaving just a 4v1 against a champ that builds no damage. But I completely forgot that he was recently released and skin sales prevent income statement fails is Riot's latest motto, so tradition states he had to kill me. Anyways, I was now getting more ambitious in my attempts at educating this poor cowgirl on why picking ADC is a mistake, but something was off about the setup on this one. And for a second I had an immense fear with uncontrollable anxiety in the pit of my stomach, that the enemy ADC was actually going to get a kill. But that was just some post-death illogical paranoia, omega lol. That said, while she was wanting to be called Miss Unfortunate, I was thinking Miss Position was more fitting, but hey, let's play a game called How Many Attacks Does the ADC Get Off in This Fight? If you guess 1 because she was stunned 4 times before getting blown to beautiful bitch particles, then you were correct. We have to interrupt our grand ADC genocide because some idiot fed a gremlin after midnight, and now I guess he is our problem to deal with, so I tell my broken ass support to run up and shove her umbrella up the mole rat's anus, and that'll end his little toxic masculinity tirade, which does the trick, leaving me in a perfect opportunity to ult him for the kill. But you forget that I'm in a deeply committed relationship with the idiot who locked in MF, and that I promised to save myself for only her knowing this will work out for us anyways. And if you think I was being petty up until now, then my friend, you have massively underestimated how much pent-up turbo virginity energy I've built over the years of playing the dogshit role, so when team fights break out, the rest of these losers might as well be veggie trays at a Pizza Hut all-you-can-eat buffet, because I'm not even looking their way. I have one goal in mind, and that is to make sure that Miss Fortune will not be allowed to play this game at any point, and once that is accomplished, I quite frankly could give 2 shits right after, because deep down I know that regardless of what happens, it will probably end with me dying to Riot's newest champ in the end. I had to take a trip south because our hooded midget employees weren't making progress down there, so I had to eliminate the competition and then give those shitters a little productivity pep talk, and little did I know World War III would break out at Center Ice while I was at work, but fortunately someone else took over my responsibility of removing MF from the fight, so by the time I got there I figured I would offer a free consultation to their jungler and provide my recommendations that he's treading a risky line picking a champ from the marksman category while giving him a preview of what his life down that path would look like, and then I'm gonna cut the scene before I have to make another comment about Riot Dev's fetish for hypermobile tanky bruiser assassin gameplay design in every new champ, and focus on something more positive, like how while this brainless buffoon playing a right-click chick thinks she can catch back up by safely farming a side lane, I can just rip a bowl off this pissy plant and then hit my bitch be gone button to remind her that the base is where she should probably stay. An outnumbered team fight breaks out mid, which makes me nervous knowing that it presents an opportunity for that big-titted pirate to actually get off more than 2 consecutive attacks, and even worse, maybe get a kill, so I zip up my pants and rush over to put an end to such nonsense, which if I wouldn't have been allergic to pushing W would have been handled with more grace, but hey, my job was done and I could care less about what else happened, so I made like a fat dude on a trampoline and bounced. Drag was up, which meant all the rubberneckers would be poking their heads out of the weeds trying to get a good look, and so I made sure MF received her invitation to the party because I had big plans for her involving her face down taking a nap in the river while the big kids played with the flapping scaly bird. That is till EDM Rave K Sante came in with the intention of paving an old town road on my gooch, and I'm not about to have that, so I just flat out left the whole mess for my support to deal with. So yeah, I had 3 items. Maybe building full AP was a bit dumb because while I was hyper-focused on being a grade A dick, which mind you was vastly successful, it turns out that neglecting every other aspect of this game with the sole mission of ruining one person's experience will actually result in your team getting wiped and you losing the game, which may seem like a bit of a sad ending. But we made their ADC go 0-16 and do the least damage in the game Lamau, and that in my book will always be a win. Rav out.